So Watson and Crick, they said that DNA is a double helix. At the same time, they said that the replication of DNA is semi-conservative. Okay, what does it mean? It means that when the DNA has to replicate, each strand will be separated. Okay, and then the new DNA will be formed on the old DNA. New strand will be formed on the old strand. So in this complete DNA, which we assume to be new, what we find is this one is the old DNA and this one is the new DNA. So that is why it is called semi-conservative DNA. Now to prove this experiment, to prove this hypothesis, many experiments were done. So one of the first one was the experiment done by Messelson and stahl. They used chemistry to actually generate a new kind of DNA, not a new kind of DNA, but the nitrogen of the DNA. What they took was a heavy nitrogen. As you can see in this NCRT diagram, that this DNA in the red, they say it is N15. Normal nitrogen is 14, but they took a heavy isotope of the nitrogen and they created a new kind of DNA that was heavier compared to the original DNA, and then they followed up their experiment. So what they did, N15 is not a radioisotope. This you have to keep in mind. Okay, they took ammonium chloride with nitrogen being 15, the heavy nitrogen. They took E. coli and they put it into a solution, they put it into a beaker, and this solution contained ammonium chloride. And this nitrogen was heavy nitrogen. Now in this solution, the source of nitrogen is N15. Everything that is made of nitrogen will contain N15. Okay, so we are talking about DNA. So all the nitrogens in the DNA will contain N15. Okay, what's next now? So after this, E. coli was allowed to grow inside this atmosphere, in this environment. So after many generations, all the E. coli will have N15 in their DNA, right? All this DNA will be having N15. So just you tell me, what is heavier, N14 or N15? Definitely N15 is heavier. How do we find out which is heavier? In the labs, what we do is centrifugation. We centrifuge. When we centrifuge, what happens is the heavier one settles towards the bottom and the light one is towards the upper side. So in this you can see, if it was N14, it will be here, but now in this experiment nitrogen is N15, so it will be here. So far we have E. coli whose DNA is N15 DNA, means heavy DNA. What's next? The second step what they did is they put this E. coli into a new solution. This solution contained N14. Okay, so originally the E. coli they are putting, they have N15 and the solution where they are is N14. DNA replication will start. This is their DNA containing N15 completely. Okay, so replication will start. One strand, both strands will separate. This is N15 strand, this is N15 strand. New DNA that will be formed will have N14. So this new strand that is being created has N14. N15 and 14. This one contains 15, this